Hey, what's going on, guys? Coming to another edition of J Street Sports. Um, and we're going to talk about what just happened on Showtime. Great night of fights. Great night of fights. Um, we had some controversy. We had some uh, uh, dog fight. Um, and also Danny Garcia coming back. Looked pretty good. It was a good fight. I thought it was close. I didn't think it was 114, 114, maybe 116, 112, but it's real competitive rounds that we saw. Um, we're going to get joined in here tonight. Here, we got one coming right now. D Hive, how you doing, brother?
I'm well. Yourself? How's it going?
Hey, it's going good, man. I just started off, uh, you know, the introduction, letting people know we had a great night of fights right here, man. Some controversy, um, a dog fight, and then we had Danny Garcia and Benavidez. I thought the fight was competitive. I didn't see the 7 rounds to 0 to start the fight. I thought Danny was winning. I just thought that, Benavidez um, you can see that he want to do certain things, but he just can't move. You get what I'm saying? But good fight all the way around, though.
No, absolutely. Me personally,
Hmm.
I could see how in the first seven somebody might give Benavidez, maybe a round or two based on the based on how hard his punches were. But to me personally, I agree with the 7-0 wash. I didn't really give him a round leading into seven. I think maybe I gave him nine because he
Hmm.
actually had a higher work rate than Danny. But despite the fact that he was landing some solid shots, Danny was landing more, and also the additional jab to the body off of his jab, which he probably got from Errol Spence, the additional jab to the body that was scoring him points. I couldn't give Benavidez any rounds because he just wasn't throwing enough and landing enough.
All right, hold on, and hey, checkmate. How you doing tonight, brother?
Hey, brother, I'm good. I'm still, trying to get over my anguish of the referee stopping Gary Antoine's fight. But
Hey, we're gonna
yeah,
we're gonna definitely we're gonna start off to the night with that fight. This was kind of put together. Thank you, checkmate. Checkmate came on and was like, "Yo, man, you going live?" Because I didn't know, so y'all can see I ain't normally where I'm new, normally at. I'm gonna get my light in here in a second. Uh, but yeah, man, we're gonna have to start the night off on Gary Antoine Russell. I'm gonna start it off, then I'm gonna let y'all two guys, go on that. Um, I thought it was a good fight. I said it before the fight, and it was more evident as the fight was carrying on. Gary Antoine Russell shouldn't have been fighting tonight. He shouldn't have been fighting tonight. I know that look that you have, you know what I'm saying, that he had on him by losing my mother not that long ago. I've lost my father too, but my mother, recent. And I know that look that you have. And you want to carry on with life when it's fresh because you want to try to get back to something normal. You know what I'm saying? You tired of all the thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? You sick of that, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to keep crying and all that stuff. You want to get back to normal, and you think you good because physically he probably felt good, but in the fight he had lapses all throughout the fight. You know what I'm saying? And it was like he was trying too hard to try to overcome it. Although he ended the night with a great leaping right hook, bad stoppage, and it was and he cheated Gary Antoine more than he cheated Bartholomew because actually that helped Bartholomew because now he's going to get another opportunity because remember the last time people saw him on Showtime he was in a terrible fight. You remember that, right, D Hive? So last time that
Yeah.
Bartholomew was there, him and Robert Easter gave a poor performance. So, but in actuality, he hurt Gary Antoine more by not allowing Gary Antoine to finish this fight the way we saw it was gonna. He was gonna knock Bartholomew out, but he, by stopping the fight like that in New York, ever since those situations happened with the Russian fighter, and also the Arturo Gotti fight, and it's been other fights. You know what I'm saying, man, where the guy died. So New York is ultra sensitive. You know what I'm saying about stopping these fights. But Gary Antoine wasn't focused tonight, and it's understandable. He had that. So, in the third or fourth round, he woke him up and started like, okay, I gotta get on the inside. You can almost tell when
Julius, something happened to your mic. Something
it is.
happened.
You can't hear me?
Okay, now you're better. Now you're better.
Okay, sorry. Um, you can almost tell when Gary Antoine got into the fight was after a big shot that Bartholomew landed. And then I saw him say, okay, let me get on the inside, start bullying this guy and things of that nature. And he got the stoppage. But I repeat, I felt like he shouldn't have went through with this fight tonight because it's dangerous, man. When you got to be fully focused in boxing. Y'all can go ahead. Checkmate. You can go ahead, go first if you like.
All right. Well, I understand what you're saying. Obviously the situation with his dad, and you're saying that. I just think, well, Rance, Bartholomew. First of all, his length. I knew that he was going to use his length and his height. You know what I mean? And Gary Antoine was going to have to get inside.
Right.
Um, so with that said, I thought he was effective getting inside. It was just that you know, uh, Rancis was a better counterpuncher, I guess, than anybody expected. Usually, he has kind of slow fights. So, um, like I said, Gary Antoine, I expected a knockout as I predicted, but what I would say. I can't be too critical because when you got good matchups, you got good matchups. And would I want to see a rematch? No, because I think it's going to end the same way. Um, I just think the referee just kind of took the shine and took the luster away from Gary Antoine, didn't allow him to walk away with an iconic KO. So I can't say I'm not upset that again he was getting touched, whatever the case may be, because this is what happens in high level boxing, right? So um so like I said, believe it or not, to me, I felt like he fought better than he did against Postal because Gary Antoine, I gave him a C, maybe a C minus versus Postal because he just fought like Sean Porter. He fought with his head down and just swinging, wide hooks, and he's normally a guy with precision. And tonight he did, I saw a lot of that. He was definitely going to the body. He was, using his jab alternately, and like I said, he ended it with that.
Yeah. Go ahead, D Hive, and well, before you go ahead, yeah, I agree with everything that you said. In spurts, I felt he fought better than the poster fight. I just think that he had mental lapses. You know what I'm saying? He got hit with shots. Although you're correct. Well, his mic keep falling. I guess checkmate went off. But anyway, I understand where checkmate was going. I just felt like it was some lapses. Bartholomew did give him issues with his length. But go ahead, D High.
Yeah, Rancis Bartolome, he's one of those fighters that he reminds me of Fortuna. He's really awkward. He's a natural southpaw. He's Cuban, I guess, but he doesn't really fight out of the Cuban school. And he can give people some problems, but I didn't expect him to really do anything with Gary Russell. And the reality of the situation is I personally think that this would have happened regardless of when Gary Russell fought. And it's not even because of the emotional aspect. It's just because his father in the corner is the person that emphasizes the jab and defensive responsibility. I
Facts.
I figured that once that person was gone, because even though Big Gary is like 33 or something, they're all still real young,
Right.
and and, and,
Exactly.
and they all just want to scrap.
Yes.
So I figured without that guidance in the corner, they was all gonna get buck wild in their next fight.
You're right.
And despite them seeing this happen, I think Antonio and Big Gary are both still gonna get buck wild in their next fight too. But as far as the stoppers goes, yeah, it sucked to see, but you know, I mean, it is what it is. It does happen, and I think Francis. I mean, his corner maybe they think that he could have pulled some shit off, but people that were watching really know that it was the
It was
beginning.
over.
Yeah, it was the beginning of the end,
Yes.
and yeah, he would have finished him off. But I mean, I wouldn't be against a rematch because it's an easy paycheck for Gary A, and also gives him an opportunity to tighten up some stuff. But I don't want, like, if the rematch don't happen, I don't want to hear no shit about people talking about Gary Russell has unfinished business. Like I don't want to hear none of that talk.
Oh no, ain't no unfinished business
Yeah,
because
this was
we've
done.
seen early stoppages in fights, and this one was one where look, the early stop. It would be one thing if Bartholomew had won every round, and that was Gary only good moment of the fight. But we had started to see Gary, cut the ring off and start to, like Checkmate said, start to land good body shots and the right hook behind the body. He was going body and head. And actually, the round before he knocked him down, he bullied him that round. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't give Rancis. I mean, I didn't really personally give Rancis a round, and if it was, maybe it was like the first or second. But it was, Gary started to turn the tide really quick. But like I said, I don't want to hear no shit about, oh, Gary got unfinished business or Ratalami is a factor in the division because he's about to be 40, and he's not about to do anything else besides get his ass
Nothing.
whooped by somebody else. So it really, we might as well just move on and pretend this, give him the dub, and let's just move on to bigger and better things.
What you think, Checkmate? Tell me what you want to see Gary do next.
All right, yeah. Well, first of all, my apologies. We actually in monsoon season, so my connection and power and all that stuff just keep going in and out.
Okay, it's all
Yeah,
good.
so we're in the midst of a monsoon. But what I was gonna
Although I
say,
don't even know what a monsoon is, but I feel
it's
you.
it's the rainy season for the desert
Okay,
here.
gotcha.
So,
Gotcha. All right,
and when
gotcha.
it comes down, no little sprinkles.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
skies
got
open up. But
because you out in Arizona,
um,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
But
Gotcha. Hmm.
and one thing I definitely noticed is I saw Rance was getting tired I saw him. He was pretty much getting tired the last 3 rounds of the fight, and he was holding on a lot. And
Hmm.
I noticed the referee didn't warn him or anything. He was pretty much holding every round.
Hmm.
Um, you know what I mean, and kind of making it kind of sloppy. But like I said, Gary, he went in and he took some to give some, and I like that about him. I like when I say I like that about him. I like the fact that he came out of that unscathed because he could have took some and all of a sudden showed okay, buckled and you know what I mean, and hit the canvas or whatever the case may be, and really look, you know what I mean, flustered, but he didn't. Um,
Hmm.
like I say, to me, I think he's very very talented. I've seen him obviously perform better, but I know what he's capable of doing, and what gets me about this, and what really kind of, I guess, made me upset about ruining his highlight reel moment, is that now you got the haters talk about, oh, Josh Taylor going to wipe him, or this person beat him, this person's going to beat him. No, they're not.
Right.
Okay. So
Right.
you're just open the door with this controversy to start shitting on him instead of allowing him, instead of this capturing the fight of the night, the knockout of the night, or whatever the case may be. So now there's just controversy. I mean, the end was inevitable, but
Yes.
I'm still disgusted that at the referee for stopping it the way he did. Now, guess what? Eddie Hearn's going to be trying to get that ref. Eddie Hearn going to try to book that ref for all his fights.
Well, that's the thing. Eddie Hearn got to be careful because I don't think he's gonna be able to do shows in America like that. But that's another subject for another day. But hey, let me say this too about people that's saying something about guys that have tough fights and things of that nature, and guys show up and do better than what they supposed to or what have you. Look, here's the thing, man. In boxing, I can go down the list of hundreds of fights where guys had tougher fights. Like if we want to be technical, Canelo lost every single round before he knocked out Amir Khan. Let's be honest. He
Nah,
lost every single round. We've seen guys have look. Boxing is a situation of a style. You know what I'm saying? Styles do make the fights because we see it all the time. People that we feel should beat this guy because that guy beat him, and then they come into the fight and it's a whole different ball game. And also at this stage, Gary hasn't fought for a title yet, so any situation like this is a learning experience. And like I said, man, now I think that he's gonna have to find a full time trainer because again, Gary or like D Hive called him, Big Gary still feels like his career is going on, which it is. You know what I'm saying? And probably when he come back, he gonna be right in the mix of a title shot. The only thing that I think about is the bond that they had with their father. You're gonna have to find someone real, like a fatherly figure that's just, you know what I'm saying, that also will conform a little bit with those guys. And I got the guy that would do it, Barry Hunter. Um, Capitol Heights and DC is about 8 minutes from each other.
I thought
Man,
they don't like. I thought they don't like Barry Hunter though.
hey, look, I'm gonna tell you something. They might, those guys had a little rivalry, but it was nothing where it was such terrible blood. Also, death got a way of making people, overlook those situations because you start to think about it and you like, man, I don't even know how this thing even started. So I really think that because think about it, Gary Antoine and his brother Antonio fight exactly like the Peterson brothers. All them fight alike. Big Gary is the only one that's a little bit more different, but that's who I would think should step right in and train those guys.
I mean, yeah, if they can squash whatever they had going on, then by all means, that should definitely happen. But yeah, I think I think that once they kind of rekindle their father's fighting system, and they, because Big Gary was giving him the proper instructions, he just wasn't paying
True.
attention because he had all that energy. But once he got a little bit tired, he had to rely back on the jab. He had to use his footwork. He had to get his head off the line. So once his bum rush style didn't really work as quickly as he wanted it to, then he actually had to rely on the skills the foundation that had already been laid. So I think next fight it should be fine. His next fight it should be good.
What you think, checkmate?
Yeah, I just think even he was when he had the good game plan as far as getting inside. My only thing is when he get inside, make it count. Lots of times he would get inside, throw two punches, and they'll be tied up. Um, yeah, I can obviously Rances was holding him, but I think when Gary
Yeah.
went in, you know what I mean. For instance, when with David with not Dave,
Jose?
Danny Garcia. No, with
Danny
Danny
Garcia.
Garcia. you know, with that body attack. You know what I'm saying? It was precision, and I just wanted to see a little bit more precision. He was definitely doing the bum rush thing. Um, but like I said, I know that Gary Antoine, I've seen him be precision, technical, you know what I mean, strikes and things of that nature. So I just don't want him to go all Sean Porter.
Right.
You
I
know what I
got
mean? Just dive
you.
in.
Got you. Yes,
So
I agree. Hmm.
next fight. Listen, I wanted them. I want him a top name. Any because I still think he's going to come out on top of the 140s. So therefore, I want him to go ahead and you know what I mean, get the next person on the totem pole. He's knocking them all out. Yeah, regardless of the controversy, he put the man on his, you know what I mean, on his behind, and it was a clean punch. It was almost sort of like Tank punch on Mario's Barrios.
Right.
You know what I
The
mean?
leaping
The
right
right hook.
hook.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So I just want him to. I want him to be in a big fight at this moment. If it's you know if it's
Title.
someone, well, if it's not a title, get someone you know a top two, three, four, five, whatever case may be. I just want him to be in a big fight so he can get the recognition that he deserves. You know what I mean? Once he dispatches that person, and the
Well,
reason why. Go
mhm.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you know, listen, yeah, the knockout of street is nice, whatever the case may be. But I'm looking forward to more than just a knockout because I know what he can put together with his punches. Now, the reason why I'm saying I brought that up is because when Victor Ortiz, I mean, no, Virgil Ortiz, excuse me, Virgil Ortiz and Berlinga, when they were 8-0, they were count all the knockout streets, knockout streets, knockout streets, and Berlinga
Hmm.
is trash. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, but they gave them the shine where you see what Gary Antoine is doing is crickets. They don't even
Right.
talk about it.
Right.
So this
Yeah.
is
Black
why I
fight.
correct. So I need him to get that big name, you know, on that, you know, put that big name hit on the platter next.
Also, a good fight for me would be the Adrian Broner Omar Figueroa winner,
Oh shit.
because they fighting at 140, and it's hey, big fight, and if he can't get a title fight next, then that's the next man. Ain't no next best thing in it. That's the best thing going if you ain't getting a title fight,
You gonna
especially if Broner can win. Man, you're gonna get the payday. You're gonna be on the you're gonna be in the mainstream. You know what I'm saying? It's a big fight. It's a DMV fight. Um, you know,
you
I
gonna
like
you gonna get one of their tired ass broke off horrible.
it.
Oh my god.
They fight at 140. So hey, look, man, you know, you know, Al Heyman is not in the business no more of just throwing guys in there with bums. So, hey, man, you're going to have to fight somebody. You know, I would think that Broner or Figueroa would rather fight Gary Antoine than getting in the ring with Matias, because nobody know him, and he can knock you out with one punch, too. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and yeah, Matias has got a deadly reputation, even though his boxing skill ain't all
It's
that great,
garbage.
and he doesn't move his head. But
Right.
he's got kind of like that Casamayor kind of style, except for
Yeah. Well,
you know,
yeah. Well, Casamayor, with the exception of Casamayor jab.
right.
Yes, Casamayor could box a little bit. He was dirty, but he could win some fights. But yeah, but
I
yeah.
personally hope, like, I haven't seen any posts like that, but to be
Hmm.
honest, if that's how people feel, if people think that Gary Antoine Russell's some easy money, I really hope that they keep that energy, because when it's time for asses to get whooped, there really should be no excuses why we can't get fights there.
Oh, absolutely. Because if he a bum, then everybody should just be willing to go on and fight him. Especially if he high in the rankings and all that, it should be a no brainer. But again, fans a lot of time have the biggest balls in the world because they ain't getting hit. So when their favorite fighter has you know be like, hey, look, I don't know if I could take this fight. You know what I'm saying? They shocked, but like I said, it's easy to have big balls when you ain't taking those shots. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
man.
can't wait for him to get in there with Regis. I know he's going to start Regis. I know he's
Man,
going to start.
Regis Prograde don't want to fight nobody. All he want to do is complain that people don't want to fight it, man. I ain't never seen a guy so much. Oh my God, no one want to fight me. I'm doing this. I'm doing everything in my power. Him and Boo Boo Andre remind me of one another. And I just have to say it because both of them have done bad business. And that's just it. They've done bad business, and then they act like no one wants to fight them. But every single time that they become free to be able to fight, they avoid the smoke with PBC. I don't understand it.
And Danny Garcia talking like he don't want to fight no damn body either. He talking about some damn Laura at 155. Like what?
Did you see him out there crying tonight? And
That
listen,
that
I
guy.
I'm sensitive to mental health issues, but sometimes as well, guys, it's not always it's not always mental health. Sometimes you okay. I guess it is mental health, but your mental health come from being depressed about an outcome. He got beat up by Earl Spence,
Yeah,
and you know what I'm saying. Let's
ass
be
whooping.
honest. He was hurt. 'Cause he got beat up, and he got embarrassed, and and he started. He now sees the end because the way that Earl beat him.
Yeah, ass whooping is traumatizing.
Yeah,
It's just terrible.
definitely, definitely.
It was a situation where there was just nothing he could do.
Yeah,
He just sat there and got his ass whooped on for 20
right.
minutes. He couldn't knock him out. He wasn't faster than him. He wasn't a better boxer. He didn't have a better
Exactly.
jab. Just nothing was working. He had to just sit there and watch himself get his ass whooped.
And it was nothing his father could tell him that could help him. And you talking about traumatizing whoopings, man, I still think about that switch my mama used to hit me with.
No, listen, Earl
Go
would
ahead,
beat
Jay.
Danny 10 out of 10 times. Earl
Absolutely.
would beat Danny 10 out of 10 times. It's his styles make fights. Their skill sets. Again, Danny is very slow. To me, he's slow, but he surprised me with
Timing?
his ring movement today, because
Yes.
he was able he was his distance was just about perfect for him to elude
Hmm.
um Jose Benavidez punches, because I knew he was going to beat him. I actually was calling for 11th round KO. So I
Hmm.
thought he was going to eventually wear him down, because that body attack was brutal. He had such a precision. It was a perfect body attack. You know what I mean? He was just placing them punches, and you could see that Jose Benavidez was like standing up like rigor mortis. You could see he even had trouble bending at certain points. And then when I gave him one round, and that's when he finally mustered up, the courage to try to go ahead and get some offense. But then he fell right back into his predicament. Because why? Because Danny invested in that body. So I was very impressed with Danny. He has no shot against Charlo. I'll
No,
just put that out
no.
Oh,
And I would favor Tony Harrison
because
over too.
he's too slow. He's too slow. But Benavidez didn't do nothing but pose the whole night.
that's why he
So
called out Keith Thurman. He was like, "I want a rematch against Keith Thurman and Law." I'm like, "Okay, so you don't want no certified smoke." And it was funny too because originally I think someone quoted him saying that he wanted a Spence rematch, but you notice he didn't say that bullshit in the ring.
Oh,
He
absolutely
was,
not.
he was like,
they
Uh,
don't want they don't want Earl. He don't
no,
want Earl.
at
no,
154, Earl would retire him. That would I don't need. I really don't want to see that. I hope Earl don't even
no. No one wants to see the rematch of that. Not even him.
not at all.
And also, um, and sometimes, man, I hate making excuses. Okay, because I guess people could call me a hypocrite because in certain situations, I'm gonna say don't make no excuses. Um, and then I'll make an excuse. But I have to be honest, man. Jose Benavides, for anybody that's seen him earlier in his career, okay, This guy's not the same because that leg is an issue. He's dragging. He's dragging. And Danny Garcia is slow as molasses, but he got great timing. But if you make Danny Garcia look like he moving like um, Sweet Pea Whitaker out there in his prime, bro, something wrong with you. You get what I'm saying? I mean,
He made he made Dan. I was about to say that he made Danny look like Danny was Floyd tonight. Like
yeah, exactly. I mean, he was moving around. I was ready to see him shoulder roll out there the way he was moving. I was like, wow, this
only thing
guy's
he missed was
yeah,
only thing he
Honestly,
missed was the Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard shuffle. That's the only thing he needed to
exactly.
add to that performance.
Yeah.
honestly, I think the only because I have Benavidez getting knocked out, but I think the only reason why Danny Garcia didn't do is because I can't confirm it, but I strongly believe that he's been having hand issues because his whole career he's been using the Cleto Reyes gloves, just
Mhm.
and then now all of a sudden he's switching to the Grant gloves, like the orthopedic versions, because they look really plush. And
Right.
I'm like, I feel like maybe all those years of moving up in weight, especially even the way he was punching, he was really tentative. His jabs were real soft. He wasn't throwing the left hook, so I feel like he maybe had some recent hand issues too. So hopefully he gets that shit sorted out, so we can see like full 100% Danny Garcia.
Well, let me tell you this, D Hive, and you can look at any Danny Garcia. You could go back to when he was 9 years old all the way till today. Danny Garcia has never punched properly. He does not throw orthodox right hand. The left hook that he throws is not correct. I mean, it has great effect, and he's perfected the way that he throws it. So sometimes when you don't throw punches correctly and it lands awkwardly and stuff like that, you're gonna have hand issues. Also, boxing 30 years of your life, you get hand issues. So um, that's how I look at the hand issues because no one had more hand issues than Floyd. But another thing that you could do is that maybe he doesn't have a great hand wrapper. You know, um,
Because
you know, be an issue.
I know where Floyd issues came from. Floyd, and that's one thing I've noticed about the entire like Mayweather school of boxing, even from like Roger, fighting early in their careers, they all slapped their hooks, and I realized that because Mayweather did it, Roger did it, Haney did it, Mickey Bay did it, and Tank used to do it, but now he's pretty much tightened it up to where he doesn't do it at all. But
Hmm.
they all have that bad habit, and the only one that managed to really shake it are Mayweather and Tank. They're the only people that shook the habit and stopped doing it, but everybody else still does it.
Right. Also, too, man, Art Man, my boy, but you gotta stop Art Man from going up there talking crazy sometime, man.
Wait, what do you say?
No, he was just it's just a joke. He was talking about Diego Corrales tonight, and he was saying how Haney and them guys are smoking.
No,
But
I
you
don't know.
know,
I don't
hey,
know that.
look, and I was hoping that he came on. I sent him the link, but I'm gonna tell you something, bro. It's just like what we were talking about tonight. Sometimes when you see a guy against a guy, it looks a certain type of way. Like you be like, okay, anybody will be able to do this, and this to that guy. Because the beating that Mayweather gave Diego Corrales, you would have thought that um, that Diego Corrales was the worst fighter that ever boxed. But it was a crazy matchup because if you don't utilize that jab correctly, Floyd Mayweather gonna beat you all day long. I don't care if you was 175 pounds getting in the ring. If you ain't got a jab, you don't have a chance. But the guy for 6 foot tall was probably the greatest inside fighter I ever seen of a fighter that's 6 foot or taller in a 130 pound to 140 pound division. Never seen it. And I swear to you, man, this guy could be in the pocket and land a left hook on you and knock you unconscious. Um, but he did have his deficiencies though, and he also liked to drink outside the ring. But yeah, but that's what it was.
Yeah,
So me and Art Man went back and forth a little bit. It was all in fun.
yeah, but like I said, when I saw people picking Jose Benavidez to beat Danny, though, I'm
Mhm.
thinking, well, why? I like, what has he done? Because he only got one loss, because he only lost to Crawford. Doesn't matter. Danny Garcia has been in high level fights. He's never been knocked out. Never been stopped. Of course, he's lost some close ones, dominated by Earl. But regardless, I just felt like he has a better chin. I felt like he had better timing, and I actually felt like his power would be even more dynamic at 154. Since they both moving up, that's why I just couldn't. I just did not see this as really being a competitive fight.
I,
Um,
I think they probably did that based upon he hadn't fought since the Spence fight. And look, man, sometimes guys they don't be knowing. They just want to pick a upset. So if it happens, then they could be like, "Oh, see, I told you." So, cause like you said, there's nothing in their careers that made you think Benavides can beat Danny Garcia. Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing at
I
all.
don't understand why people were so high on him. What? Because he got his ass whooped by Terrence Crawford. Dude has
right.
accomplished nothing in three-weight division
No,
and has never held a belt and probably won't ever hold a belt. I really don't understand what people thought he was bringing to the table aside from, oh, he fought Terrence Crawford and fucking lost. Like, okay,
right. And he went so long in the fight. I think that's what impressed these guys. Oh, he went 12 rounds. And also Jose Benavidez, they look at him as a Mexican fighter too. That matters. You know what I'm saying? When they picking these fights and stuff like that, we know that matters.
Well, and I kept telling people, I was like, listen, Jose is not David. To me, I still have David as one of the top 10 best fighters in the pound for
Yeah, I,
pound.
I, I
Uh,
love David.
So I said, just because they're brothers, I said, don't confuse it, don't get it twisted because of the last name. Jose is not David. They have two completely different styles. One just is, again, they're not even on the same level. I understand what you're saying, what he used to be, but
Right.
this current incarnation of himself is there's no way that I would even. Danny has been in there with the top, with the cream of
Yes.
the cream of the crop at 147, and held a good account for himself.
And
And
140.
right.
Right.
Absolutely. So, Jose Benavidez, God bless you. Good luck on your career. Hopefully, you get some more wins. But I just did not see this being a competitive fight. So,
Look,
I mean,
man,
my prediction was for the 11th round KO. I didn't get I didn't get the 11th round KO, but got the win.
and also Jose Benavidez' competitive boxing career ended when he got shot in the leg because everybody talking, and a lot of these guys aren't even look. I'm gonna say this respectfully. A lot of these guys aren't even talking about that. They didn't learn Jose Benavidez until he fought Terrence Crawford. That was the first time they seen him or heard of him. Again, it's something that people like to try to rally around anything. You know what I'm saying? Just to make themselves look smart in case something happens. You know what I'm saying?
the same with
In
Green Bean.
case.
Nobody had ever heard of
Right.
Kamalaskas before he fought Terrence Crawford, but
Can't even pronounce it, including me.
yeah, but as soon as Bud knocks him out, suddenly he's this top 10 that been putting in years worth of work, and I'm just like, against who?
Right.
Well, exactly. Shut up. You don't know this dude.
I agree. Point blank, I agree. I mean, and it's crazy, man. It's just one of those situations where guys get, um, you know, these guys start to get credit for getting beat up, and because that's what happened. Terrence Crawford beat both of them guys up, and instead of them, like most of the time when guys get beat up, people throw them away, throw them in the trash can. But with these two guys, they became folk heroes. And it ain't like that they went out on their shield in spectacular fashion, like knocked Terrence Crawford down 3 or 4 times or something. I mean, these guys didn't do much. Green Beans, like you said, had one good moment. And like, so where did he get all this love from? This stuff is amazing sometimes, man.
Yeah, like I can appreciate the reality that you like a fighter, and that's perfectly fine. But we gotta, keep it what it is. Like dudes, like it's funny because the same people that were riding Buzztail, they were saying that Danny Garcia didn't show up to win against Spence. But then when they thought Terrence Crawford was gonna fight Danny Garcia next, Danny Garcia became the ultimate badass. I'm like, well, how that work? How exactly does that work? It's the same as people trying to argue with me talking about the Kell Brook that Terrence Crawford fought is somehow better than the Kell Brook that Spence fought, even though it was after Spence had already whooped his ass. Spence and Triple G whooped his ass. So it's just like, okay, because he got some wins against some bums, he's rejuvenated. Like, no, get out of here.
I agree.
Like Jose
I,
Yeah, I
Benavidez
I
is
didn't.
not known for
That was a
anything but
shell of
being
Kell Brook.
Davis' brother.
oh, facts. And that same Kell Brook, and like I say, as much as I like Terrence Crawford, you know, it showed me something. The Kell Brook fight showed me something in historical fights. You know how people like to, put historical fights because Kell Brook used a basic jab as a shot fighter, and he closed Terrence Crawford eyes in 4 rounds of boxing. And
It was a very boring fight too.
and exactly, and that was because Kell Brook fought at the pace he wanted to fight at. But and hopefully that Spence fight happen because again, people for some reason, like when I look at fights, I'm telling you the truth, guys. I believe that anybody can get it, like Broner said, and I mean that for anybody, any fighter. I feel that any fighter can get beat. And so it's not gonna be out of the realm of possibility for me to watch Bud get destroyed or Spence. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I think that these guys, like you said, man, they make guys into the heroes, and then they act like they didn't see what they saw. Like what you just said, checkmate. It was a boring fight, and also this guy closed his eye in 3 or 4 rounds.
Yeah, it was to me. Like I said, I think that was a shell of a Kell Brook. You know what I mean? He had came off, still, reeling from those crushers losses to Earl and GGG. Confidence gone. Change train. All these things going on. He just wasn't prepared, and you can see. But to me, the fight it pretty much ended just when Bud hit him with that good shot and hurt him. Other than that, it would have been
Yeah,
a boring 12 round fight.
is
Well,
that
I'm going. You give. Yeah, he gets credit for getting the KO, whatever the case may be. But you know what I mean. It just wasn't to me. That wasn't a career defining fight to me. You know.
exactly? Also, I want to touch on the Jake Paul and Hakeem Rockman Jr. Uh, postponement. Okay,
I thought it was canceled. I didn't think it was
well,
postponed.
canceled. Okay, canceled. I want to touch on that for a minute. Um, because again, man, Jake Paul got a terrific team with him, and and I'm gonna put it to the team because this guy ain't been into boxing, so he don't know how to manipulate that boxing game like that. But they had the great game plan of calling Hassan Rockman, seeing my boy Steph, seeing what weight class he was at. Steph, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, sir. I'm just heading to the Kona store to get some goodies. I'm in the truck with the doggies. I'm good though.
Okay,
What's
well,
up, gentlemen? Checkmate.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
look,
Who else
man,
we got on
you
the
wasn't
show?
on, so yeah, man, you wasn't on, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you shoot real fast. What did you
Uh,
think first with the Gary Antoine fight?
you know what, man? We all gonna be mad. I missed it. I missed most of it. So I just
Yeah,
caught the tail end. I literally just caught the last round where he went down. I'm so mad at myself. What the heck was I doing? Oh, you know what it was? I was FaceTiming my parents, man. I was catching on it. Tomorrow's my mom's birthday. She's gonna be
okay.
65, so
Oh,
I was
okay. Happy
FaceTiming
Oh,
them.
birthday,
okay.
mom. Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Brown, man, definitely.
Mhm.
Uh, but I want them to run it back. I want them to really run it back. Um, I guess I really got to ask you guys, what you guys think of that fight? Was it tough? Was Rantis in there, or because when I looked at the post interview, it looked like old boy's face was messed up more than Rantis was.
Go
I
ahead,
didn't.
checkmate.
I
I didn't
mean,
see. Yeah, I didn't see his face being messed up.
Not messed
Um.
up, just more inflamed there, checkmate.
Oh, he always his dad had them puffy eyes. They just got the puffy eyes thing going on
Right
there.
on, right on,
But
right on.
yeah, but just to I for me, I would like to see Gary move on to another opponent because I think the same thing is inevitable. He'll get a KO. So I would love for him to fight a upper echelon of the 140, so they can really start. He needs to. I want to see him in a championship fight within the next 2-3 fights
Like two
max.
fights. Yeah, yeah, I'd say two fights because he's ready, man. He's ready. And like I was listening to, or was that someone else? I was listening to? Someone was like, or I'll say it. You know, we've been so spoiled as boxing fans, gentlemen, that some of our favorite boxers are just the hype is too much, man. It's just too much. There's only maybe three guys who would really deserve the quote unquote the hype. Everyone else is like, damn near needs to earn that and go out there and put the work down. But that's just me. But uh,
Facts in
yeah,
there.
yeah, Antoine needs to go ahead and fight the best. He looks more than capable and ready and hanging with those dudes. So, but Danny, Danny looked good, man. Shit, he had me in tears a little bit, man. That's just life, and I said this going into the fight when I saw him at both of them weigh in. Man, he looked happy. He looked happy to just be back and
Right.
enjoying the moment, enjoying where he's at in his career. So that's the way he fought. Like he fought good. He had good vibes in him. And I had him UD. I didn't think he was gonna knock him out. Jose looked big, right? Damn,
Yeah, he definitely
he
looked
looked
big.
big. Like,
Rance
I
looked
guess
big
it's,
too.
yeah. You know what? Yes, sir. I said the same thing. Yeah, Ramsey looked big, man. I don't know,
They
but
rehydrated.
Man,
yeah,
Rance looked
yeah.
like he was weighing 170 in that ring, bro.
But coming back to
Yeah,
Danny,
yeah.
Danny looked good, man.
Heavy.
Danny looked real good at the weight, and he's just small. He's 5'8". He about my height, 5'8" and a half, barely 5'9".
Mm-hmm.
But he looked good, and man, that car is close to me. I'm kind of everywhere.
That's
I
okay.
think he's the he's the biggest name up there right there next to Jamel. But Tony Harrison was calling for it, but like he looked coming back to Danny, he looked so happy and fresh. You hear him? He called for one time again, and
Yeah, that was kind
that,
of.
I,
Yeah,
I
that was
think that
kind
could be honestly welterweight, or
of.
catchweight. But I think that could be welterweight.
Yeah.
He not gonna come up to 54 and do that because the 54 guys will start calling for him, and that's just not what
Right.
anyone unless you're in that weight.
I agree. 100%. Also, too, man, I like Keith Thurman, and I thought that the Thurman and Garcia fight was good, the first one, but we don't have to have two. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like it wasn't so mouth watering that I want to see. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look,
Well,
the one thing I like to tell boxing fans now, every fight ain't gotta be no trilogy now. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I'm with that too, sir. I'm with that. Oh yeah, I'm with that one.
And also too, Steph, you had came on right when I was touching on the situation with Jake Paul and
Oh
Hassan.
no, ain't
Getting
gotta talk about him.
Yeah, man. And look, it was to me, this was a situation, and like I was telling Checkmate, one of his favorite people, Cat. Like I was telling her, man, this was this was a situation where I mean you could see it coming from a mile away. Like they called the man on the phone, get a gauge of his weight. I have heard that it was somewhere in the 255 range. They said, okay, here you go. We're gonna get a fight. We need you to come in at 200. I'm gonna tell you like I've told everybody, D Hive, everybody, Steph, Art Man, when we was on the last time. I told y'all that Rockman Jr. was not gonna throw the fight. He was gonna try to win. But the thing was, how was he gonna get down to 200 pounds without cutting off part of his knee or his leg, man?
Yeah, I
Where
think.
did he start out at?
Oh, go ahead.
What was his weight when he started out? When he got the call, you know?
About 255.
What? He came from 255 all the way down to 215. That's a good job. They
And
squeezed every little bit they could, I guess.
and they know he can't go no lower and be strong because
Right.
all of this has happened in like 5.5 weeks. This
Jake
man lost
want
11 pounds a week.
I personally think what happened was is that because Jake the Paul brothers they're idiots, but they're not small ass dudes. They're easily over 200 pounds in their regular life.
Facts.
So
Yes.
I think what happened was originally it was all greasy, but what happened was like you mentioned earlier, Jake Paul's team did some actual research and was like, "Hey, bro, this shit isn't sweet. This like you might really get in here and get hurt." And then they were like, "Okay, let's try to bring him down to cruiserweight. That way we can fight Tyrone Woodley like we planned this whole time or some shit. Do Tyrone Woodley for like a third time or some goofy nonsense."
Right.
I was gonna put some money on Rockman to beat him. He's just too big. He's been training his boxing his whole life,
Right.
and there's no way I was gonna let a one trick pony. I don't that word, but you know what I mean.
I hear you, Slim.
But he just started boxing. He has like 5 fights. There's no way in the world I'm going to let this guy think this guy's going to go on and outbox and beat this guy who's been training his whole fight. So I think when they try to melt him down to cruiserweight, let me tell you something. If Jake Paul really wanted this fight, he'll fight him at the 215. He don't
Right.
want it
It was
because
over
he
10
know
pounds.
because he know that he would lose. He know he would not have any type of competitive advantage. The man already came down from 255. Again, there's a health situation here if they're going in low, and that's their thing. They drew the red line. They thought they was motivated to get there, but you can only do so much in so little time. So
Well, New York is one of the well now because of the tragedies with Buddy McGirt trained fighters. They are committed, man, to trying to make sure fighters are going to come in healthy and safe. They're not going to be sanctioning fights um, just for anything. You know what I'm saying? And they weren't going to allow that man because they knew what weight he was coming from. That's why they told, they went outside of the contract and said 205. And then Rottman was like, hey, look, let's be real. It need to be 215. And also, Steph, you could answer on this. Have y'all ever been a part of when you were younger how two people wanted to fight, but one of them didn't want to fight unless his brothers or cousins or friends were going to be around because he needed them in case things go bad? Well, that's the vibes I get here. You know what I'm saying? When Rock said, "Oh well, since you come up 205, you could do it at 215," and then he was like, "Oh no, he don't want to fight. He ain't serious." And also I seen Jake Paul mother come out and call Hassan Rottman a P. You know what I'm saying? A PUS. So that shows you also that the mother got no class. You know what I'm saying? Because Rockman Jr. responds back to her, and she gonna become a victim.
yeah, listen, Rock. The thing about Jake Paul didn't have to lose no weight. You know what I mean? He's pretty much walking around the fight, the weight he's pretty much going to fight at. He didn't have to go through that, but he wants this man to melt down just so he can have a depleted fighter in front of him, just to say, "Hey, I fought a boxer, a real boxer." Fight
Right.
him at 215 if you're that bad. If you think you're that guy, fight him. Floyd is 150 pounds and fought Jake Paul. Come on now.
Logan. Right.
If Logan
Logan
Paul,
was 205.
if Floyd, right, if Floyd can fight Logan Paul, he was a hawk that night. Looked like he was steroid up. If Floyd can fight Logan Paul, Jake, guess what? You can fight Brock, man.
Because both Paul brothers walk around their regular walking around weight, especially before they started boxing, was a smooth 235. Like
Mm.
they're not small dudes.
I'm gonna leave and come right back.
All right,
Okay.
brother.
All right.
Yeah, so they
Steph, let me
easily,
get the
so
store somewhere.
yeah,
Yeah,
they easily walked around at a solid 225 to 230. They're not small little dudes.
exactly. I will second that. Also, let's talk about Adam real quick. What did y'all think about that fight?
Oh
I
shit!
didn't watch the fight, to be honest with you.
You
I was
didn't?
too pissed. I was too pissed that the referee stopped the fight, man. The referee stopped, stopped the wrestle fight. So I was so pissed. I didn't even want to watch it, man.
Yeah. How about what do you think, Dion?
Somebody told me that he like some people were saying that he hurt his right hand. Can we confirm that?
Well, I can't confirm it. I can only confirm in the fight that he did what he normally do, which is get hit a lot.
Well, I mean, yeah, but he like halfway through it, he just
What
didn't
fight is
quit.
this, gentlemen?
We talking about the Adam Kanicki fight.
Kalnacki versus.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I'm not a
Okay, I did
fan.
see that fight.
I
I'm not
mean,
a
That was a
fan.
war.
He's
That was
pillow
a good fight.
fisted.
I mean, just
Yeah, it
halfway.
was a decent fight. It was a decent fight. I think Adam just met his match. They're almost like the same style. That was kind of hard to judge. But the Turk dude, he was really bringing the pedal to the metal, man. He was picking his shots nicely, and he fought like he knew he could handle Adam. So that's what I got from it. Uh, and then yeah, it was a decent fight, man. Decent fight. But the other guy won for sure.
I
If
think.
you, if
I
you
think
scored it
something.
correctly.
I think something must have definitely happened to him because halfway through the fourth, he just stopped throwing with any sort of volume or conviction at all, and he kind of just coasted to a defeat from the fifth round on.
He
So
did fight good in the
You,
10th.
you know what it was though? That's because that Turkish dude kept he hit him with a bomb. I was gonna say like from round 3 and on, or to like round 3 to 7. What is that guy's name? Demirian, something like that. He was tagging him, man, and he hit him. You know, when he first hit him with that right shot, you know, I don't know, he's probably having flashbacks to his past fights where he got knocked out, and he was, you know, just a little nervous. But you know, he said it in the post interview. He was like, you know what, man, it was ring rust. It was a little bit of a shocker because, like, you know, I don't obviously don't want to lose, but like ring rust, and like I guess what he meant by that is that he had some reminders of his, you know, he had some flashbacks.
Right.
I was like, oh shit.
Sometimes those demons will flash up on a guy.
yeah, it's just like
Right.
Yeah.
the flashbacks Danny Garcia probably had from Spence, which is why he was throwing and then stepping around him so often because he's like, yeah, you don't want him to get on that ass.
Like I
That's
said,
true,
for
but like
me,
Jose, man, you know, he couldn't move. Like the jury was really out on that. You know, I hate to bring up his leg, but like he just had no fluidity within his body. He was very stiff and just kind of right there. And like Danny could have done more, but the dude's just so damn big, you know. And then
if
by the
Danny
way,
would
what
have
size
pressed for the
glove
KO,
was
he
he
could have
wearing?
got it.
I think so too, but you know,
He didn't press.
old boy, real big. Old boy, real big, man. That's a big
But
boy.
but Danny was hurting him, and you can tell that body shot was debilitating him with a point where he would just stand, and that's when he would pose like, "Come on," and he could saw it. And if Danny truly wanted that knockout, he could have, but he you know he stayed focused
He
and
let up a little gas, yeah.
he stayed disciplined to his game plan. You know what I'm saying? But he shoe shined him when he needed to shoe shine him. And you know what I mean? He was looking like a little
Shoe
pretty boy
shine.
Floyd. Yeah, he was shoe shine. He was showing off,
I
you know,
like that. No, I like that.
wagging the
I
tongue
like
out.
that.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
would like
Katie
it.
Taylor was doing.
Yeah.
I'm personally glad. I'm
She
personally
did a
glad
lot
he
of
didn't
shoe
do that.
shining, but Amanda Serrano won that shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
personally glad he didn't do that.
also I'm glad y'all brought that up about Amanda Serrano. Hey, look, I agree. Amanda maybe should have got the nod, but I do not like the way that she acted and has acted since she lost. I mean,
Being happy,
I
being
have
happy
never
with it.
seen such a happy loser before in my life, man.
Because she's a millionaire now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
Yeah, I was gonna say,
exactly.
I don't know, man.
the
She got
money
paid
made
up.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that
I had that
money
fighter
made her.
draw.
Did you see that little property she brought? That looked kind of, for me, that looked, I was like, man, you should buy something better. But hey, not my money.
Hey, no,
But she's happy.
I
She's
actually didn't
happy.
see what she bought. In Puerto Rico.
I guess that's what that was because it didn't look that sexy to me. I was like, eh. But
They
hey, man, she happy. She happy. And I'm glad she didn't take the rematch because they were gonna job her again. So like, it's all good now.
Yeah. Um.
Especially in Ireland.
Right. Also, too, guys. Just to give you a little update on what Hassan Rockman Jr. said. He said that um he had never seen a fight get canceled a week before because of the weight, and that he had told the commission when he kept seeing the weight, he told him that there's no way that I'll be able to get down to 200, but he had said that it's possible he could get down to 215 or even 210. um, he said that that's when Jake Paul and his team went ahead and dropped it because he told Jake Paul that I could just fight for the minimum of 5,000 if
Nah.
you know what I'm saying, if I could reach the penalties. And he was like, Jake was like, no. And he said, well, Jake, if you beat me up in the gym and I weighed 230, so what's the big deal about me weighing 215 to 210? Now y'all can go ahead and shoot on it.
Uh, I mean, real fast. How much did Anthony Joshua weigh in his last fight? Like 30?
Yeah, he lost a lot of weight in that Usyk fight. Yeah,
Yeah.
30
Um,
range.
kind of a cheap point I'm about to make, but like, I mean, shit. Like, if he could have got to that or even 225, old boy should have been satisfied. But like I keep saying, man, this is why I really want to skip over this stuff because like this is a clown show, and
Yeah, it
like
was.
old boy's gonna take a dive anyway.
I don't feel
So
like gonna take a dive.
and well, if he wasn't Jay, he was gonna beat that white dude up. He's gonna beat him up, man. He's gonna beat him up.
And here's
But
the
they
thing.
can't
What?
let that happen.
Right. I was about to say what happens because one thing about a clown show, I mean, I'm sure all of us have been to a circus before. It's a lot of people that go,
Right.
you know, and not only they go one time, people want to come back and see that clown show again. You know what I'm saying? It's very popular.
I'm they hey, I more power to them. That's just not my cup of tea. You know what I
Right.
mean? I like skill and precision and all of that. So I would never hate on them, but I want just like I don't watch MMA. I'm not gonna hate on MMA people. Just say hey, and I don't watch wrestling. You know what I mean? WWE. Enjoy what you like what you like, but
Right.
he's getting a lot of attention.
Mhm.
But hey. Obviously he don't want to fight Rockman because if he did, he would agree to fight him at 215. And you know what? Also, he was paying him a fraction of the money that he was paying Tommy Fury. So you know what I mean? It's like not only that, but Rockman was saying that he was pretty much was getting less than half of what he's paid his lowest fight so far. So
It seems like in the boxing game now that we've gotten to the point where the truth really don't matter. you
right.
know, People gonna do and say, you know what I'm saying? Like checkmate, I don't know how many times I have seen you pull out your video, man, and go and a guy say, well, so and so said this, and checkmate to say, well, hold on, let me go pull the video out, and you'll pull the video out and show that guy did not say this or did that person did that, and they still won't believe it.
No,
So
no, no,
you
they
know,
don't even respond. Once you hit them with the facts, they just go away. They just disappear. But
right?
the propaganda media, the artificial noise, it's in full effect right now. They're trying to put Bam on that pedestal. Oh, Bam beat a old rusty tin can dude who was slow. You know what
So
I mean? In
molasses.
perpetual motion. When he swing, he was Bambi. He was still swinging, and it was just ridiculous.
And
But
think
they
about
made that fight of the year. This is how racist boxing is. They made that. Why is not Charlo undisputed over the guy that y'all said beat him the last time, knocked him out emphatically, and you can't make that the fight of the year? That is still the fight of the year for me. Like
how is that
racist.
guy you talking about that's so slow. D High boxing has been going on for hundreds of years, okay? And people told me that a top 10 Latino fighter by the name of Chocolito. And how do you get knocked unconscious and need a stretcher against a guy that is slow as molasses and a kid that with 12 fights just beat him up? Like, man, you can't make this stuff up, man. You can't
He
make
is so slow. I was telegraphing his punches. I knew where his punches was gonna go. It was
My
like
thing
he
is,
like.
oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I'm not gonna give people a bunch of credit for putting them in fights that they're supposed to win. Like I picked Bam against Sarang beside, just like I picked Bam against Estrada. Like these are not surprising wins to me.
But propaganda media, racist boxing, trying to anoint him. They like, oh, we got to start. Think about this. The Zone has not made one star since they've been here. Since Eddie spent millions and millions, they have not made one
not
star.
one.
So to them, they think this is their hope. And you got to understand, there's nothing really down there at that weight division. There's not like a supreme athletically gifted talent
Right.
down there. So they will do him just like they do in a way. You know what I mean? And and Loma fight sea level fighters, and you praise him. You know what I mean?
And it's
Um,
funny because after that victory, the first thing they talked about was going back down to 112, and it's like exactly because he might not even beat Chocolatito to be quite honest. I mean, I mean, so that's the first thing they did. The first thing they did was, all right, let's go back down and wait before we get too buck and get him beat up. It's like
And
exactly.
they're
fight
gonna protect him.
nobodies from
They're gonna protect him and
Southeast.
build him into a star that they want him to be.
Right.
They
He's
gonna
Latin. He's Mexican. He's American. He speaks great English, and that's his natural English. They looking at a marketing ploy. The problem is he's too tiny. Okay, these flea weights are not going to carry the cachet. Like who really comes out to see flea weights? But hey,
I agree. Guys gonna go out there dancing, throw 1,400 punches, and nobody even get staggered.
right.
And
Yeah.
folks gonna say, "Oh my God, we just seen a legendary fight." Jose Estrada and Dutch boy Jim from South Asia. Oh, and what a spectacular fight there, man. Now,
oh
sick
man,
of that, bro. Hey, you can miss me with that again. I do not want to see this. And listen, man, no disrespect to my fighters from Southeast Asia that fight in the 112, 115, 108 pound division. But bro, even some that might come from see, the ones from South Africa, they don't even fight. But I'm just saying, man, I can't see that no more.
we
It's not even come on. I don't want to see that.
we
And
don't know them for a reason.
exactly. And also, this is the propaganda and the racism and again annoying, ignoring the truth that's right in front of you. Man, let's look at this card from top to bottom tonight. This was a great card tonight, and it wasn't any big time major fights. It was just all good competitive fights. Like none of these fights tonight was mismatches. None of them.
I like the Derevyanchenko. I'm glad he got back on the winning path.
Yeah, exactly. He beat Conley, but he definitely don't look the same. That Charlo beating was for real.
Hmm.
They were over there talking about him potentially getting another title shot. I'm like, y'all better sit down
Hell
somewhere with that
no.
bullshit.
Nah, yeah.
Well, who are you gonna fight? That's
Exactly.
the question.
Shit, he could fight anybody. Who is he going to successfully beat?
I like him though. He's a tough. He's tough. He's a gamer. He's a warrior. He's just had some hellacious losses, and it took a lot out of him. I think he
And
beat
he stopped jabbing.
GGG. He beat Triple G. He got robbed in that fight.
I agree.
Um, but yeah, but Charlo put it on him, and he just has not been the same since. But I still like to see him fight because I know he's going to give it his all. I would love to have seen him and Canelo fight. I really think he would have gave Canelo the business because of his work rate. But you know what? Speaking of his work rate, this is what was missing. He was not that active tonight. He's changed up his totally changed up his style. He was that pressure fighter. He did not put that pressure on today.
And he threw his
Right.
jab in the trash. I don't know what happened to his jab, but he doesn't really throw it as often as he used to.
Well, again, man, I think
Thank,
the
thank
age
Charlo.
and the Charlo beating has caught up with Devinchenko.
I personally think he was hanging up. I'm kind of good with the Adames fight. I was like, man, all right, this is getting ridiculous. But now with this, I'm like, yeah, it's probably time to call it a wrap before you really get beat up.
Did anyone catch the Vito Melanecki fight?
Nah,
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
saw
catch
it.
Nah,
that.
but I heard it was a poor stoppage.
Another one? Yes, it
That's
was.
what people were really
It was
mad about that on the timeline.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
really
I didn't catch that one. I'll probably watch it on YouTube tonight.
But that was on the YouTube telecast, I believe. By
Right,
the
it
way,
was.
did you guys see the interview with Steph Fulton and John Ennis with
I
uh,
saw some of it when they was talking about the different divisions, things
yeah,
like that, right?
yeah, that was with Raul Marquez.
Right.
That was really cool to see, man. That was
Yeah,
good
I
stuff.
like Raul Marquez, man.
Yeah, man, did you see how big Steph Fulton is? Freaking coming down to 122.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
see
he said 155. Yeah, he be 149. He said 149, 150
and
would
listen,
make sense.
this
Yeah.
is this is what I be talking about, guys. When people start talking to me about, oh, weight classes mean something, I'll be like, hold up. The vast majority of these fighters are coming down 3 and 4 weight classes to fight. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So it ain't nothing for these guys to move up 4 pounds, move up 8 pounds, because they already coming down probably higher than some of the guys fighting at that weight.
Jay, I've been yelling it, man. Everybody is cutting weight.
Everybody.
Like, oh my goodness. Like,
Weights.
and one more thing, like take Usyk as a prime example. He's a natural heavyweight who cut to cruiserweight. People yelled at me in spaces. He's a cruiser. I'm like, dude, this guy is a heavyweight. What are you talking about?
He's already 225, 230, going to 200.
better
Like
Yeah.
that's
be
the heavyweight.
Better be if is another person that cuts a significant amount of weight because he was a heavyweight amateur.
Right.
And when
Floyd
he
is one
fought,
of the.
okay,
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and when he fought Marcus Brown, he almost missed weight.
Right.
Yeah, Floyd is one of the few fighters that fought at his walk around rate, and you know who tried to do that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know who tried to emulate that? Canelo. That's why Canelo want to go up weight so that he didn't have to cut weight. He's trying to pattern himself off of Floyd. But the problem is he's, you know what I mean? He's not fighting the elite. He's doing a lot of ducking, and he just lost. But he tried that.
So
He was
let
like,
me ask
oh
you this: do you think
yeah,
it got something to do with the clenbuterol?
yes, absolutely. I think he got start smelling himself. So, but think about it. He look at a guy who's 18-0, 11 KO. Oh, he don't have the power. I can take him. You know what I mean? So
Well,
he looked at that, right? He said he's like, I'm gonna try. He starts smelling himself, thinking, I got enough in the tank now. I'm good. And he's thinking he just this Terminator. And he got terminated.
well, let me ask you this, checkmate. Do you think that cutting weight for Canelo has something to do with clenbuterol?
No, well, I think before that's what he was doing in the past. I think this time I don't think he used clenbuterol this time. He even said he was a vegan. I'm not vegan. He said he said he wasn't eating meat. You see what I
Yes,
mean?
Steph.
Man.
You know I'm trying to stir up.
That dude is on steroids, man. It's all good. Once a
Yeah, yeah.
cheater, always a cheater. It's fine.
So
But by
absolutely.
the
So
way,
he said,
he's a natural 54 pounder who's come up because And like, just to piggyback off you, real fast, check man, I'll shut up. Like, look, he fought Triple G and took his best punches and got inspired off of that. But the PEDs always help. So it is what it is. But
He's a
don't get it
kid.
twisted, man. Canelo ain't no punk. Like, he should fight the
Right.
best.
Never said, yeah,
But yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I just
clown
think
on
he's not
tour.
the best, and he's already proven he's not the best. He will lose to David Benavidez 100%. I'm going to put five
Oh, he's
hundred
gonna get
dollars on that
flatlined.
fight.
I'm putting a
I'm going
thousand.
to put five. I might put 1,000.
He's gonna get flatlined. Checkmate.
He's
He's
going to
going to get
lose.
flatlined. He's going to get
David
flatlined.
David Benavidez's hands are too quick, too fast. You know what I mean? David Benavidez can take a punch, but his work rate, Canelo's work rate is so slow. And you know what I mean? He depends on chopping people down like a tree. And obviously that didn't work against Bivol. So he's going to lose to Bivol again. He's going to lose to Benavidez. I believe he's going to lose to Charlo. You know what I mean? Janabek probably going to beat him. You know what I'm saying? If Janabek come up or whatever the case may be. So
He's
Speaking
not
on
so
gonna
he,
beat any of those people.
I say he's going to lose at least 3 fights in his next 7 fights. I guarantee Canelo loses at least. If he don't lose 3 and 6, he will definitely lose 3 out of the next 7 fights, guaranteed. If he fight these prime fighters,
He's not gonna fight.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now did you see what David said? You know, when they interviewed him, will you be quiet, dang dog? Damn. Um, um, got food in my hand. They just being greedy. Uh, what's that? Did you hear what David said? You know, when they kept putting the microphone in his face, the names that he mentioned. He mentioned Charlo, he mentioned Andrade, and he mentioned Caleb Plant. I thought that was pretty telling because I fall in the camp that when Errol moves up, Jamel's going to move up, and then Maul's going to move up as well. So just going to throw that out there and let that simmer and see what you guys think about that. Just kind of chew on that. But I think that's going to happen here in the next, I don't know,
well,
10 months or less.
well, I've personally been vocally against Charlo versus Benavidez unless it's for a belt. Unless it's for something you can say this is legacy. If you beat David Benavidez, you first of all you're the smaller fighter. You're moving up. You're going in with every competitive disadvantages you can possibly can. You're going to face the fighter with the quickest hands you've ever faced. You're going to, you know what I mean? The 6'3" guy who walks around probably at 200 pounds. So he has nothing to gain to fight him unless as he was moving up the fight, you know, for the belt. So I say Charlo should stay the course. Eventually, you know, the zone fighters going to lose. Something's going to happen. They're going to be forced to have to fight him. Master, you've only had 5 fights or 6 fights at
60.
160. Okay,
But
just because people telling you to move up, don't follow their path. You
Hey,
have your own. You know what I mean?
hey,
no, Checkmate's right.
jump
I
in
like
there.
what Check is saying.
Steph, hold on. Let me jump in here real fast because we brought up Caleb Plant, and there's some Caleb Plant news that I have to hear everyone take about. So it's been reported that Caleb Plant has a new trainer by the name of Stephen Breadman
Oh
Edwards.
shit! Oh, I knew you was gonna do it. God.
what are y'all? What do you
Uh,
think about it?
Oh boy.
real fast.
Okay.
Trying back to Charlo because I do have something to say on that.
Well, go ahead, do your Charlo, and then keep rolling, and then
Right,
say something about that.
right. You know, Checkmate. I don't disagree at all with what you said. I like what you said because I like the pace that Jamal Charlo is on. You know, he is one of the more disrespected boxers in the whole game right now. People really want to play what's that, tic tac toe with his resume. It's a very nice resume, man. Maybe not the sexiest of names, but it's a very nice resume. And look, he's a champion, and he's actually doing it the real way, quote unquote, because the champion gets his belt and defends his belt. That's what he's done 2 times now, and continuously. Now, uh, there was a fight hype video release at this presser of Garcia versus Benavidez Jr., where they put the camera in Steven Espinosa's face. And he said that his bosses, the network, the big money fight is Charlo versus Benavidez.
I heard that,
That's
and I don't like that.
but that's real. And look, man, yeah, I know you don't like it now, but that's good for boxing, man.
It's
And and when I say it's good for boxing, just like that's a good boxing match. You know,
well,
Charlo
Oh
could
yeah.
damn well win, but like I do believe Benavidez would win, and I do believe he's the best 68 pounder right now. Now,
he is the best 68,
as you rebuff
100%.
that, let me go quickly to Caleb. Man, I love the matchup. I like Steven and Caleb, but I like Steven better because I'm so used to him and his mailbag and just trying to, you know, he's one with like boxing. He's a boxing fan like us. He's talking right now probably about boxing just like us. So that makes up the game.
Hmm.
Caleb, Caleb's a really nice, crafty fighter, man. He just can't bust paper bags, and that sucks. When you're talked about and considered with the top guys like Charlos and Andrades and David, of course, because those guys carry a lot of pop. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
He does need to see Caleb's built up now. And not only that, he lost his belt to a future Hall of Famer, but now he's got to face the smoke. He's
Mm.
got to. He needs names now. Like, dog, you can't be fighting whoever you were fighting like 2 and 3 years ago, man. That's what and I'll leave it at that.
Checkmate. Go ahead.
Just no, I was just going to say I'll start with the cable and then I'll piggyback to Charlo.
Okay.
Hmm.
I listen. I know. Look. My boy Ray Jackson. A lot of you guys be beefing with Caleb Plant, but I like Caleb Plant. I just think he was a little too green. I thought actually I had him winning at the time of the Canelo stoppage. So I had him out boxing until he was just giving up that body and letting them chop it down. Giving them free swings while they
Yeah, his Philly
on the
shell
on the
sucks.
rope.
That's all good.
Right. It was horrible, horrible. And do I look good? I'm pretty good, huh? You know what I mean? I'm sad. So that's the only thing that would piss me off. But I think he's talented. I think he's definitely got good boxing skills. He's got good foot movement. He's got everything. He's good. He's just going to get better. You know what I mean? He was still green in a sense, where he was trying to, yeah, he was trying to do the shoulder roll, Philly show, whatever the case may be, and it was unsuccessful. You don't lean there and let the guys get free shots. And his corner kept telling him, don't allow him to get free shots. So his corner saw what I saw, and they was telling him, don't let him stop giving up them free shots. So what are you doing? Hold them, do something. Don't just shell up. But anyway, enough of him. But I do think Plant has the capabilities of being a champion again one day, just not right now. Because if you got to go through David Benavidez, you're not going to make it.
Sure.
Um,
Hmm.
if you got to go to, I think believe it or not, in a rematch, I would favor him to beat Canelo in a rematch. Believe it or not. Um,
Or
I can
not.
see that. I can see that. I can see
yeah,
that.
yeah, no. I actually would because I had him beating when it first. I think he will learn. He's learned enough to say, "Hey, I can't stay on the ropes." He would do the same thing like Jamel Charlo did. Jamel Charlo learned his mistakes, what he shouldn't have done in the first fight, and he did everything accordingly in the second fight. And I think Plant would be smart enough to know if I stay off the ropes, I got this. So, but when it now, piggyback to Charlo. Now listen, if David Benavidez and Charlo fought and it meant something for a belt for a championship, I'm all for it. I'm not against that, but what I am against is racist boxing trying to push this young black stud, this undefeated champion, to a whole nother realm without allowing him the benefit of mastering his own division. Okay, because I want to see this, I want to see that. Okay, well, guess what? He has food down here. He needs to fight at 160. Okay, so why don't you tell David Benavidez to move down to 160? Tell Benavidez to fight him at 160 then, if you feel that much about it. Why do you want to have Charlo have the competitive disadvantage? You know what I mean? To move up to 168, and he's never had a fight at 168. So my whole thing is, again, let I believe he has the capabilities of being undisputed at 160. And he said that a couple weeks ago. He said, I want to do like my brother. He said, I want to master my division. He said, I want them Benavidez. And I think he just keep talking about Benavidez just so people can keep his name in the airways. I just think that's just marketing and publicity, because he's got a lot of work to do at 160, and Eddie Hearn cannot keep
Well, Eddie Hearn
that food
ruined
away from him for
everything.
too long.
He ruined everything, man. Eddie is so bad for boxing, man.
He
Like
has been horrible. He's been stopping so many
he's ruined.
fights. He stopped Tank.
He almost stopped American boxing. Is what he did. Is what I mean when
He
that's what I
did.
really mean. That's what I really mean.
He's
But
clogged it
thank
up.
goodness
And
for Showtime and company.
and where is he now? Has anybody seen Eddie Hearn in America? He is
Nah, man.
totally disappeared.
Well,
He's doing things in
Yeah,
well, he
Spain and
doesn't
everything
promote.
else
He
now.
only promotes Canelo. That's
He
the
probably
problem.
and,
under investigation for some of that bullshit.
right, and also we haven't forgot about that list.
Oh yeah,
This
yeah.
was
You
a
know
guy that
what? You know what? Actually, on
What
that
list?
list, man,
What list?
that Twitter list, man, that
know
Twitter
that,
list.
that list of people can't come into the country, and
Oh yes, yes, yes.
and remember he was
Oh,
doing
Eddie was
this.
just in the country, but Eddie was just in here. Eddie was just in
Yeah,
here
that was that was then,
for the
but
Bam fight.
it's like that dude that came on that was from the Irish newspaper or something that came on Art Man show. I mean, the way that he's been is 1 week he'd be here, 1 week he isn't, and he was someone that was in direct business with Daniel Kinahan, including trying to break and secure that fight over in Saudi Arabia. So, like the guy saying, I agree with him. If Eddie can come into the country freely, it's because he's cooperating or have already cooperated in
Hmm.
regards to that situation.
Hmm.
Well, that's why I said Bob Arum is the one. I think Bob Arum the one who started the whole thing off,
Oh,
because Bob
absolutely.
Arum, you know what I mean. I think
You
he's
guys
the
are
one who
funny, man.
started. No, no, no. I really do think Bob Arum is the one who
Oh no,
got
no,
this
no.
started because because Bob Arum paid him over $4 million. And so he obviously had
Money
direct
laundering.
connection with him through Tyson Fury. Absolutely. So Bob Arum was totally in his pocket. But then Bob Arum all of a sudden, oh, he did this. And in the video he said, oh, he told me he did some horrible things in the past, and he's, you know what I mean, he's changing his ways, and he's everybody deserves a fresh start. And he said all of these things. This let me know that Bob Arum just basically trying to get him out of boxing because he was encroaching on him. So he was starting to bully strong on Bob Arum. Bob Arum said, I'm gonna get him out. This is the reason why the feds, you don't hear nothing about Bob Arum, because Bob Arum should be right there. Mauricio Suleiman should be right there. A week and a half before the feds came down, and for that 5 million um, finder's fee, um, the, Suleiman said, "Hey, I give 100. The WBC 100% supports him. We back Daniel Canahan. We back um, TK. What is it? TK.
MTK.
MTK.
MTK Global, yeah, we
Right.
100% support them. They're doing some great things in Middle East, wonderful things. And no, and why isn't he brought up? So why is Suleiman, who did business with him, who I put the video out there, he has pictures with this guy. You know what I mean? Why is he escaping this?
And checkmate. I'm gonna answer that question for you, but I'm gonna let D Hive go ahead and jump in regards to the Caleb Plant situation and Breadman. Go ahead, D Hive.
Oh man, when I saw that on Twitter, I even told you first. I was like, "Don't do it, Julius," because
You know I had to, man.
yeah, I mean, Breadman couldn't coach, Kyron Davis out. Like he couldn't coach him against old Darrell. He got a draw. So, and considering how he performed in the best fight of his life, I'm personally not sure what Breadman is gonna do as far as try to convince Caleb to maybe be a little bit more active and maybe get knocked out by somebody else. But like I mean, the only thing I would tell Caleb personally is that the Philly shell is not a static defense. It's an active defense. You can't just strike a pose and expect not to be fucking hit. But yeah, I mean, hey, best of luck to him. I hope that it really works out. I'm not sure what brought about selecting Breadman, but hey, you know what? I can't wait to see the next fight.
Hey, man. Let me
I
jump
like
in.
that.
Um, I'll say this. Um, to me, Caleb Plant is an average fighter. Again, we like to talk about resumes. I have to bring up Caleb Plant resume. uh, in order to get a job, man, people ask for your resume, and I wanna dissect his resume real fast. I'm not gonna go too deep into it. I'm just gonna throw out there uh this guy. 21-1, right?
Oh no.
Yeah, 21-1. Okay. Big wins. Biggest win of his career. Caleb Truex. And Jose Uzateki. And Mike Lee from the Subway commercials.
Yeah.
Hey, look, man. And he ain't knocked none of them out. And if I'm mistaken, he hit Uzateki and got a knock. Well, he did stop Mike Lee. But bro, I'm gonna tell you something, man. This guy is one of the weakest champions. He just fall in line with the other guys. When Caleb,
Oh my gosh.
when Caleb Plant steps up again, they were talking about him and Anthony Durrell. And I know the dog is 35 or 36 years old, but guess what? He's gonna beat Caleb Plant. Caleb is a average fighter, and Breadman is a philosophical type trainer. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy that do a lot more talking and strategizing than he does getting in the ring and actually going through the mechanics and the, you know what I'm saying, and the pads and stuff like a Derek James that do both. All right. So I mean, if I don't see, well, I think that he's going to be a different voice for Caleb Plant, but there's nothing to add that's gonna make Caleb Plant all of a sudden become this juggernaut. You know what I'm saying? So count this. I forgot who Checkmate said that was gonna lose like 3 out of their next 5 fights. Well, I'm gonna add to that list. Who was it?
That was Canelo.
Okay, Canelo. Well, 3 out of 7. I'm gonna add one to the list. He go by the name of Sweet Hands. Sweet Hand Plant. Add him to that list. And this had nothing to do with my personal stuff. This has everything to do with boxing. Straight boxing. Add Sweet Hands.
That's strong right there, Jules.
And hey, Steph, I'm gonna tell you when I started feeling like, man, when I seen his wife smoking him. Now look, she was a crack. She was a crack. But I running and I ain't see no athleticism. And then he get out there in the ring. It's easy to look athletic against
Mike Lee.
You know what I'm saying? That was Subway versus Jersey Mike's. So, man, hey, I'm just telling y'all, bro. Add him to the list. And yeah, and then if we want to get to the personal stuff, I'm sick and tired of guys that are culture vultures. They come in our culture, they get our women, some of them. They come in here, they make discouraging or bad, remarks about black women, and then I'm just sick of it.
No. Did Caleb say something?
Yes, Caleb has said something. And when he got into the argument with, when he got into it with my man Ray Jackson, you can back.
Oh, so that's what that's a little bit about. See,
yeah, well,
real quick though, like, man, I'm real old school, man. You know, I gotta kick my dad for this. Like, when I see crazy ass headlines and just like crazy stuff, people just be talking, right? Man, I'll read a little bit and then keep it pushing, man.
Well, I saw Caleb did this himself, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Continue, though. So, but what I was saying to that effect was like when his interaction with Ray, I think I read one little bit and I kept it moving, man. Like,
Uh huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, but go
yeah.
ahead,
Yeah,
Sam.
I didn't get
but
involved in it either.
but yeah, we could. Yeah, I agree. We could keep the Ray thing out of it. I just think he an average fighter, and that's just me. I really am not sold on him as a fighter because if I look at the level of opposition and I also look at the way that you dominate guys like that, and I've never seen nothing like where I say, oh my god, he's so explosive, or you know what I'm saying, or I see this James Tony guy in the pocket. Like I see
Yeah,
him as a
well, we don't. We barely have any of that today, though. We
I
don't.
see Caleb, right, we don't have any of that. But I see Caleb as a real average fighter that's going to struggle against Darrell. I think that Benavidez stops him. And I think David Morrell will beat him. So where do he go? You know what I'm saying? What do he do? Do he move up? What is he going to do with his career? So that's why I say add him to that list, checkmate. 3 out of his next 5, unless Al Heyman put him in this situation where he can fight Subway fighters. One,
You
he
said
can fight
Subway.
Chick-fil-A second, Subway, Chick-fil-A. He can fight Burger King. Uh,
Well, watch,
you
watch,
know,
watch,
Whataburger.
watch you fight Kyron Davis.
Well,
Kyron,
Kyron,
okay, he might fight
listen,
Kyron Davis.
listen. I do believe Benavides KO's plant, but as far as Darrell, I don't know, Julius. I'm gonna have to. I think he actually might beat Darrell. I think he actually might beat him because his I think he's a better boxer. Darrell is scrappy. Darrell is scrappy. He's a dog, but we've seen him get dominated. Um, so and I think boxers definitely give him problem. I think I understand the issues that you have with Caleb Plant. I ain't going that's but when I look at him, I think he has enough skill to beat Darrell. He's definitely getting KO'd by Benavidez though. Who else at 168? You said Morrell. I'm not sold on Morrell yet. I think Morrell only has what 6 fights. I'm just not sold on Morrell yet. Um, we'll see how they go. Hey, and you know what I want to touch on? The elephant in the room is with Bud, or the elephant in boxing, I should say. Bud and Spence. I wanted to touch on this. Um, I'm disappointed that Bud wanted this fight. Now I like Terrence Crawford. Y'all know I like him. You know what I mean. I just think Spence is going to KO him because he's just too small framed and never had that type of brutality come at him before. So I think Spence stops him. But Bud has been talking about how much he wants this fight. And now he's trying to milk every cent of the guarantee, not the pay-per-view, because you're going to get your pay-per-view percentage. But he's trying to milk like every percentage of his guarantee to make up for what he didn't get from Bob. And I just think you said you wanted this fight. You said this. Errol is the A side. Errol is the holding the 3 belts. Errol's been dominating the 147. You can't just stop the fight and not allow this fight to happen because you felt like you want 20 million guarantee or whatever you want. Now they're probably going to make over that with the pay-per-view, but I'm just disappointed myself being as though I like Bud, um, but I know he's looking out for himself, but you wanted this fight. Now I said that to say this. Um, all these other fighters took so much less to fight Canelo. They took so much less to fight in these big fights because they saw the bigger picture. Um, Bivol took so much less. I think Bivol only got like between 3 and 5 million, right? Because they
Right.
saw the big picture. Okay. Now we understand that you have status. You were on their mythical pound for pound #1 and all this stuff. We understand you were undisputed, but for you to all of a sudden get to the 1 yard line and have it stall, I'm disappointed in that. This fight should have already been announced by now.
And the reality is that he's doing all this because, to keep it 100, he knows that if this shit goes left, he might not be fighting for a while. He might have
Sorry about that, guys.
yeah,
Yeah, where'd you go?
I didn't go anywhere, man. I don't know, man. It froze up on me and went out.
Gotcha.
Glad
You were
y'all
saying,
was shooting, man.
yeah,
and it's
D Hive.
funny because if Ugas had won this shit, I guarantee this fight would have been signed already. But yeah, no, he's also concerned about his personal safety because he realizes that his fans cannot fight for him. This is not a game, and he might be out of commission for a little bit.
Earl break eye sockets. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Oh,
So he
I'm
realizes like shit. What if this shit goes left, and I gotta sit my ass down for a year and a half?
Right. Also,
What if
D
I
Hive,
go?
let me tell you this, D Hive. I
What if
thought
I go
about
to
you.
like Danny Garcia and I gotta
Uh-huh.
relive my fucking life after ass whooping?
D Hive, I thought about you tonight when I saw Jose Benavidez family, and I remember we had said that Ugas had the what I'm saying, the best looking girlfriend in the game. I don't know, man. Jose Benavidez might, you know, I'd
I
no,
like some
no, no. I saw
competition.
someone in the. Who was that? I saw someone in the crowd.
Danny Garcia twin sisters.
Oh yeah, they
I mean,
Come
never
on.
mind.
they
I mean,
bonded.
yeah,
Ah,
they're attractive. Don't get it twisted. Don't they can get
yeah.
that twisted. But now there's someone else in the crowd. Who was that? He would Vito was sitting behind him. Who was that? He had a little pale broad up with him. But quickly pedaling back to Bud.
Yeah.
Uh, man, I said it. Uh, the night of Spence Ugas. You don't want to fight him, gentlemen. You don't want to fight that guy. It's nothing personal. It's um, I'm not saying he ducking, even though he's ducking, but this is the way he's ducking. But he don't want to fight him, man. He asking for a big bag and whatnot, and I agree with all y'all's opinions on what y'all think comes before, middle, and after. Regardless of this fight, meaning he's thinking about his future and trying to again get the bag, but you know. It's too bad it comes at Earl's expense because Earl's trying to go undisputed. Of course, he wants to unify, and that's what's stopping Boots and Virgil's and all those other guys who are coming up behind it, or even damn near Keith. All this Keith talk is starting to piss me off a little bit because it seems like to me people will be like, oh well, you know, him and Keith should do it. Talking about Errol. No, Errol says one fight. He said he had one fight left. This fight, and this guy, I said again that night, is like he's in a bad spot. He wants to unify and do all that, but not against Errol. That's it's a no. It's a no.
This
So whatever,
Yeah.
man.
this is
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
crazy. I'm disappointed. I'm gonna have to send him a message. I'm
Well,
disappointed, man.
you know what, checkmate. He's gonna have to. He's gonna pay hell on that, man. Don't get that twisted, sir. He's gonna pay hell on that.
The
Boxing's
biggest
gonna
fight
come
in
after him on that.
boxing. He can't blame the other side of the street. He can't say Earl don't want to fight him. He can't say he's not getting a fair deal. I think they was talking about 55 or 45.
Right.
Like come
Well,
on.
well, well, if I can add this too, though, checkmate. This is the absolute first time in Terrence Crawford's career where he's negotiating solely on his own. This is the first time in his boxing career because every single other time in his career he's had representation from either the top rank or Cameron Duncan before that. This is his first time, and not only his first time, he's negotiating his first time the biggest fight of his life and the biggest in boxing right now. And so, you know, that's why guys hire people like a Al Heyman to negotiate on their behalf. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes if a fighter, what I'm saying, like I haven't heard who he has representing him, but I haven't heard of any type of advisory role. And I would think that Bomac is not, a part of that. but I don't know.
I
So
was gonna say
Is Cameron not with him
probably a big
anymore,
match.
Jay?
no, Cameron left him during the top rank situation. You know what I'm saying? Cameron took him to top rank, and then eventually they got Cameron out of there. So of course,
Oh
Cameron
well.
was getting paid, but yeah.
Oh
So
well. You know.
yeah, yeah. Cameron was getting paid though. As Bud was going through his career with Top Rank, Cameron was still getting paid. He even admitted that, but Cameron did. But yeah, man. So I don't know. That's my take on it. That this is
Um.
God's first time
Let, let me
negotiating
let
a
me ask
big
you guys this.
contract by
Let
itself.
me ask you guys this. The room here. I'm gonna grant we don't get the fight because that was my prediction anyway. Where does Bud go? What does he do?
He got to fight Boots.
I don't give a shit. I mean,
But
yeah,
who's gonna pay for that though?
the WBO gonna mandate it because Virgil Ortiz don't want
But
to
who's
fight.
gonna pay for that though?
He gonna have to try to get PBC.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he's promoted free right now. So
But
this is
you
what's
ducked Errol
disappointing me.
Spence. But you
Yeah,
ducked Errol
this is
Spence.
horrible
You
for
think it's
boxing.
over? You think
Oh
the
no,
negotiations over?
I think it's going to happen. No, I
I
think
I
it's
think it's
going
hope
to
it
gonna
happen.
happen
happens,
too.
But look at the time frame. Right now we're almost in August. If this
8 months.
fight is going to happen, you're going to have a 3 month window. You have to make this fight if it's going to happen in November. You have to go ahead and boil it down now so they can go ahead and do the marketing push and everything else. They got to go ahead and
Oh, but
do
there's a date. There's a month though.
do it in
Checkmate.
New
People
York
talking
and
about November
LA. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So my point is, listen, like I said, I like
based
Bud.
on what?
I know a lot of people, I like Bud, but my point is, I'm so disappointed that because I was hearing 55-45 that he wants 50-50. So if you open your books and they open their books and they see what you've made in your last 5 fights and what Earl has made in his last fight, it's not even, it wouldn't even add up to 80-20. So you being, you holding out. You're doing an Eddie Hearn right now. You're doing what Eddie Hearn did with us with AJ and Wilder, and I don't want to go do that again, man.
I feel you. I feel you. That's something that has to happen, in my opinion. It has to happen because these guys' career, they're linked. Unfortunately, just like Mayweather and Pacquiao, all the great wins that both of those guys had, their fight against each other had to happen because it settled the debate of generation, the best of the decade. So this is
But
one of those fights where
but thank
people
you,
say who's the welterweight of this decade.
but thank you for bringing that up because Manny he turned down the 40 million flat and he made like I think like 100 and be somewhere between 125 150 million. Floyd made it over 300 million, right? So
Right.
Manny knew his place. You understand what I'm saying? Manny was making a
Mm-hmm.
minimum at 25 million at the time.
But
You
hold
know what
on,
I'm saying?
checkmate. But hang on, sir. I even if they fought now or fight now and fight later, that's this fight's nowhere near as far as economical on
I,
any of that level, man.
I 100% agree. But what I'm saying is Manny knew his place again. So
Oh,
the
oh, oh.
percentage that Manny took, he knew it wasn't going to be 50-50 with Floyd. He understood that. But they were the two, greatest welterweights of that era, right? And it's the same with Bud and Spence right now. So Bud got, what is he trying to do? I don't get it. It's illogical for me to understand this because it's about what do you bring. We know, going to take two to make great fights. But if you're going to get paid more than you've ever been paid, you're going to get 45% plus, you know what I mean? Whatever the guarantee is, plus 45% of the pay-per-view revenue, and everything else. Dude, I mean, I don't help me understand this. If you want to fight,
He's
you take the
but
fight.
right, yes, sir. I agree. But checkmate. You see, I said this honestly just based off how he was moving shortly before Sean Porter. This guy is a lot of misdirection. waffly, confusing. And listen, I know Bob Arum catches a lot of flack for this, but he was not lying when he said this guy's hard to deal with and hard to sell because he just seems to be, um, as far as marketing, his business acumen and what he wants to make his deadlines, things like that. Uh, difficult, just difficult. So I judged all that and took all of that. And this is, I think, when I even met you, Julius, like face to face, coming on Nike's show, check me. I think it was when y'all first met. I said, look, man, this guy's going to come to the table pretty fucked up. And given how Steven, Al Heyman, Errol, Derek, and how they go about things and how things have been smooth sailing. Sorry about my little doggy. Um,
All right.
uh,
Mine's you're hollering too.
no attention. But given how things have been smooth sailing with them, you know, I said then, and I'll say it again now. They're gonna have a breaking point and eventually leave this. So I'm gonna challenge that to everyone saying they need each other. I know they need each other because us boxing fans want this fight, but Errol realistically and technically don't need this guy because when you stack them up, when you start hitting the check boxes, I would argue and say Errol has done better. And I know old boy is an undisputed champion and whatnot, but as a boxing fan, I can nitpick and go through that and match that if we really wanted to do that, guy by guy. And then for the fact of it, Errol is, since he's come to the money fold, he's always been a 60-40 guy because he's earned that. He just has that Midas touch. It's just his blessing. Unfortunately, uh, Terrence doesn't, because he's, his skills in the ring has definitely provided such high pricing, but it just doesn't translate to the dollars. And that's
Well,
what this is all about. It's crap, man. Like I can't believe we're, like you said, Checkmate, like I'm disappointed like you that we haven't gotten it. And just because I called it out, just how I just laid it out there, you know,
And
folks don't
and
like that.
and also I'm gonna commend everybody involved, man, that they've been so quiet about this negotiation because normally, like I said, when Al Heyman and those guys are quiet, that's when deals happen. Or anybody, any promoter, any sport or any walk of life. Usually, when you don't negotiate through the media or negotiate through other people, it can you can reach an agreement. And I'm hoping that everybody knows, which they know better than I do, that part of getting an agreement, man, is compromise. You
But
know,
oh yeah, and we're not getting any from. Sorry to cut you off, but we're not
yeah,
getting
you
any of that
gotta
from Buzz either.
compromise.
You
You
know, and,
know,
and I don't blame him because he's in a bad spot. Like I kept saying, I'm like, this guy's coming away out of a bad contract. He's suing his guy over racial discrimination. He
right?
has no backing. I remember back in February, he did that interview with Radio Raheem, and it was getting racial then. I didn't like any of that type of cryptic language. And basically, from what I got from it, it was discrediting Errol. Because, again, if we will put this on paper, he's the bigger man. I mean, why would you argue that? But hey, they are. Um, so he's just in a bad spot, man. And then, like I keep saying, fine, we grant he doesn't fight this guy. He's still got to go through a Keith Thurman, a Boots, a Virgil, a
he's not
Stanley.
getting past Boots. I'm gonna tell you right now, he's
Hmm.
not getting past Boots. I don't
Mm.
see it.
And
Don't
listen,
see it.
and here goes something else too, man. And if that happens, that's okay because Boot Sanders, Gary Antoine Russell, these
I want
guys
an
are
apology,
25
man.
years old.
I want an apology
Was that
because that they on. I mean, I know Errol doesn't care as far as like a because where he stands as a man, but been a lot of disrespect going his way throughout this since the moment he called out Terrence Crawford. There's been a lot of
yeah,
disrespect,
well,
man. And I know that's fans, I know that's
yeah,
fanatics, but man,
yeah, it's
um, it seems to only be with Errol though. It's kind
yeah,
of really kind of weird at this point, but I
yeah,
get it that too because everyone's frustrated that
yeah,
there's no good news surrounding this, but Like you see now, I'm already moved on at this point, so I'm just like, what does Terrence do now? Because everyone who you're possibly linked with or who you possibly would want to fight is on this side.
Hmm.
So, but everyone who is on that side is looking at you a little sideways because you don't even want to fight one of the best products on this side
The
over money.
biggest fight.
So,
And listen,
so it's
it's not
weird.
like he's getting burnt. And listen, the thing is, he don't even have to pay the 35% to a promoter this time. He don't have to pay that 35% of his purse to Bob Arum. You know what I mean? He get to keep his purse and everything else. So he's actually making more. Like I said, and his two biggest fights were Sean Porter and Amir Khan. That's it. And none
Well,
of those
let's,
fights he didn't really make. He never made over $7 million. You know
yeah.
what
Say
I
those
mean?
names again. Say those names again.
Sean Porter and Amir Khan were his
Man,
biggest paydays ever.
man, this
Now,
guy,
Hey,
man.
hey, look,
And what
yeah,
hey,
also
look,
kills
guys.
it.
Look, I'm gonna have to end it right here, man. I might
yeah.
come on to. Well, I know I got to do my Georgetown talk tomorrow, and I may add on some boxing tomorrow night because I wanna keep this going, but I got to do a couple things here, man, and wrap it up. 2 o'clock in the morning. Look, I know Checkmate got 3, 4 more hours left in him. It's what 11 o'clock there. So
Yeah.
hey, D-Hive,
All right,
thanks for
my
coming
brother.
on. Steph, appreciate it, brother.
All right, sir.
Checkmate, I'm glad you came on, man. And we're gonna shoot again, all right?
All right, my brothers. All right,
Gentlemen,
All
brother.
right,
Take
man.
care,
have a
Y'all
man.
good one.
take care. Have a good night now.
All right.
All right.